Seahawks trying to bounce back from their first loss in 6 games, while the Ravens just trying to get to the end of the season. Hey, how are you, folks? Jason Horowitz, NFL.com's Pat Kerwin. Glad to be with you on the NFL Previews presented by Comcast. We'll start with Seattle because Baltimore has lost 8 games, so we'll leave them for later. Seattle goes to Carolina last week and lays an egg. Offensively, could not do anything against the Panthers. Why?
An embarrassment, and it's really hard to explain. I will say this, and just watching the tape, didn't watch the whole tape, did watch about half of it. I think they got to address some of their protection issues. I think they got to get themselves sound against the stuff. They knew where the pressure was. It wasn't as much blitzing as people were being told during the game, and I kept listening to that TV. Where's the blitz? It's not a blitz. It's just a good pressure. I think they got to get themselves squared up there. And, you know, Matt Hasselbeck knows how to distribute the football. And I would say this. Just give the ball to Maurice Morris.
Well, let me ask you that, because they are 30th in the NFL in 3.6 yards per carry, and they only had 44 yards rushing against Carolina, who has been eaten up on the ground at times this season. Is that completely the answer?
Well, I just find that Maurice Morris, for the year 2007, has more suddenness, more dangerous runs in him than Sean Alexander has.
But can they be a good running team? Who cares? Whoever is behind Matt Hasselbeck.
Here's why the passing game works, because they are afraid of the running game. And Sean Alexander, for a while, was giving it to you on rep. Then Maurice Morris, I thought they were trying to say, okay, Morris is in the game, let's play pass defense. Bang, he hits you with the cutback run stuff. That kind of balanced it up a little bit. You need to do that again, and you need to get yourself in better protections. Those are the 2 things I'd like to see you do. And by the way, Patrick Kearney and that great pass rush, they disappeared too.
Yep, last week they did not show up. Matt Moore was, I believe, sacked 1 time in that game last week. So certainly was not a very good effort for that defense, which has played very well all season, although Patrick Kearney is going to the Pro Bowl. The other aspect of this is Baltimore. And you've got a team in the Ravens that have lost 8 straight. They haven't showed up for a couple of weeks. They now are the team that lost to the Miami Dolphins. This season, is it up in the air? Do they come close?
Well, I said this in the post-game show last week. I'd play Troy Smith the rest of the way. I wouldn't fool around with this. I'd just play the guy, let him go out there, give him a little spirit, let's see if he can spark this thing. Then we heard earlier in the week that we're going to see Bowler. Now I think they're back to saying Troy Smith. We need to see Troy Smith in this game. It's over the other way. And so what's left of the defense is still the proud Ray Lewis, Bart Scott's in there, Kelly Gregg's in there. They'll still play fairly tenacious defense, but there are no corners on the field. They're in their backup corner mode. You can throw over these great Raven players and attack the back end of this team. Thought they went after Corey Ivy pretty hard last week. I expect them to go after Corey Ivy really hard this week on the road.
And, of course, it's in Seattle, which is a tough place for anybody to play, especially for a team that's got to make the long trip on an 8-game losing streak.
Correct.
Exactly. That is very tough. Let's throw all the numbers into the computer. Here it is. The AccuScore prediction for this game. 75% of the time the Seahawks get the victory. And remember, they're still fighting for the 3rd spot in the NFC.
Right. And that's the point you want to make. What are the Ravens? The Ravens are a defensive-minded, emotional football team. Well, all that emotion's really out of the game right now. And the other team is scared. Not scared. That's a bad word. But in the NFC, you'd like to be the 3 seed, not the 4 seed. They want to fight for that spot.
Yep. And the 3 seed, that means you don't have, well, it doesn't matter who you see, because you don't know at this point who you're going to see in the 2nd round, because Green Bay and Dallas are still fighting for the number 1 seed. For more on this game, folks, or any other here on Week 16, be sure to stay with CBSSports.com and watch everything else on the CBS Audience Network. For NFL.com's Pat Kerwin, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care.